10 seconds studio. Stand by telecine. 9, 8, 7, 6. Roll telecine. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Retro TV Show.
Hello and welcome to the third in our series of the Retro TV Show. I'm Andy Henley and it's a pleasure to be here. And what I tend to do on our show is review DVDs which I've picked up in places like CEX or maybe off of eBay. Maybe I treat myself to a DVD or a Blu-ray on Amazon as well. And it's basically going through my collection of recommendations which I like to view, watch, and it's programs which have maybe recently been on TV as well. But I tend to love the hard copies, i.e. Blu-ray or DVDs, rather than streaming them. So thank you very much indeed for watching over the last couple of episodes. I've had quite a bit of response over the last show. Hello to Jonah782, who said he picked up the Zodiac DVD, managed to pick up in CX, and he says he's really enjoying the show. I've got through about 4 of them, and yeah, it's okay. Not brilliant, but okay. Dave Patterson of Yorkshire, on the last show we mentioned Trumpton, and Dave Patterson says Trumpton has never looked so good. You could even see the handwritten signs on the Blu-ray. Yeah, absolutely. And it was a bit of a treat buying that for myself, I must admit, and a big fan of that. And still working my way through the entire 39 episodes of Trumpton, Chigley and Camberwell Green. Hello to Julian Cheddar, who says Black Beauty. She says, lovely series. I've picked up the Blu-ray on eBay and reliving my childhood. Barry in Croydon says, thank you very much indeed for your review of Black Beauty. I've managed to save myself a few pence by not buying the Blu-ray. I've actually bought the DVD version instead due to the picture quality. And hello to Simon in Dundee. On our program last time, we were talking about the Look at Life DVDs. And he says, I watch them all the time. I'm not collecting the DVDs, but I love watching them on Talking Pictures TV. So there's plenty to review about today on the podcast. Don't forget, you can check out our website, which is radiogroovy.com. And don't forget, if you do check out the website, don't forget to listen to the radio station as well. Lots of TV lounge music, TV theme tunes, and incidental music, which may bring back memories or two as well on Radio Groovy. So the first DVD I'm going to talk about today, and I made not quite a plea, but I did mention at the end of the last podcast that I'm collecting the Crown Courts, and I have yet to pick up DVD 7 and DVD 8. Well, the good news is I have managed to get DVD 8 of Crown Court. Now, these are as rare as hen's teeth. I've not seen 8 for a while. I've managed to pick it up at a reasonably good price. I'm looking forward to watching this as well. Crown Court, for those of you who don't know what Crown Court was, it was on primarily through the 70s into the 80s as well, and it's what you used to watch when you were away from school. There was no daytime TV as such. You may have Play School in the morning for 20 minutes, you'd have Rainbow or something for the kids at lunchtime, and then you may have something like the Cedar Tree or the Sullivans, the news, Pebble Mill, and then there'll be a drama, and the drama may well be spread over 3 afternoons a week, Crown Court. So this is the last in the series of the DVDs of Crown Court. They only ever released 8. I've now got 1 to 6 and number 8. I have not been able to get 7 yet, so still working on 7, but these are being shown on Talking Pictures TV. They come on a Thursday afternoon currently. They're being rerun. I'm not going to sure how long they're going to rerun them for. And but the DVDs are great because you just watch them one after another. And I'm looking forward to watching this. So I'm going to be starting my collection of Crown Courts from the very beginning with the very pilot episode, with the pilot episode, and then hopefully work my way through the others. And if I can find DVD 7 in the meantime, I will be very happy. Just to reiterate, and I've been saying this on the other podcasts, I am no way affiliated with TV stations or any companies. What I'm reviewing is completely independent, and I buy all the DVDs which I review as well. Now, this is an interesting one, actually, because Wonder Woman has been out on DVD in the UK for many years, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman. And it's never been available on Blu-ray. However, I've got it and I'm watching it and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's not very expensive and I managed to pick this one up on Amazon. The Blu-ray, which you can get from Amazon.com, will work on UK DVD and Blu-ray machines. So just to reiterate, if you are a fan of Wonder Woman, and this is the whole 3 series, it's the one where the first series was filmed in based in the 1940s, then they moved into the 70s, and Lara Wagner, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman is on Blu-ray. It's an import, but the picture quality is incredible. Incredible. I thoroughly recommend it. If you've not bought the DVDs of Wonder Woman and you've been thinking and ahhing about whether you're going to or not, do so. You won't regret it. I must admit, Series 1 was very strong. However, I do prefer the retro 70s Wonder Woman. That's Series 2 and 3. And they're all on there, every single one, including the pilot episode. And I thoroughly recommend it. So, yeah, if you do get a chance, if you may be thinking, shall I buy it? Do so. Do buy it. You may well even find it on eBay at a good price. But just to repeat, the Blu-rays you can play on UK machines, which is brilliant news. And then I ended up picking up this, I'm not a big fan of the new Wonder Woman films. However, this one, Wonder Woman 1984, I did manage to see on one of the streaming services, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a kind of a throwback to the Wonder Woman of the 1970s. So I managed to pick it up for a couple of quid in CEX. Something else which I've managed to pick up, and this is great. It's a ITV comedy which was on in the 1970s, and I remember watching this when I was at school, and it used to come on tea times, about 5:15 at night on the Night's Crossroads one on, and there was 2 or 3 of these comedies, and one of them was A Sharp Intake of Breath, which was an early David Jason comedy, which I've yet to get, but it is on my hit list of DVDs to try and find. But quite by chance, here's one which I've forgotten all about, but managed to find. So yeah, it went in my shopping basket, and it's In Loving Memory with Thora Hird and Chris Beanie. Now, you may recognise those two as being on Last of the Summer Wine. Everybody, basically, whoever was in comedies of the 70s and 80s ended up in Last of the Summer Wine. Well, Thora Hird and Chris Beanie definitely did. And this is... I may be looking through it through rose-tinted specs. It's a bit like... it's funny. It's okay. It's well written, actually. It's well written. And it's held up quite well, because even when it was made in the 1970s, it was based in the 1920s. So obviously it was very niche in its time. And so to that respect, it really hasn't lost a lot of its plot, a lot of its story, a lot of its loveliness. I will work my way through. What I tend to do with these comedies, and this is the complete series, and there's loads of DVDs in this. It's a complete series from start to finish of In Loving Memory. And what I do tend to do with these comedies, I tend to watch maybe 1 or 2, work my way through them, and then I will just put it into the back of the box, and then work my way through something else, and then come back to it as and when I want to. But I've seen a couple of these, and yeah, they're okay. They're okay. Probably not my favourite, but I am pleased I've managed to get this. Now, here's a little treat which I managed to pick up for £3 in a charity shop, and it's the Morecambe and Wise movie collection. Now, we all know about Morecambe and Wise. We all know the routines. We know the stripper act. There was Morecambe and Wise albums, which you used to get. I used to remember listening to the Tun-Up Boy many years ago on album. And yes, I was aware that Morecambe and Wise did films. And on here, it's 3 of them. The Riviera Touch, the Magnificent 2, and also the Intelligence Men. And I've only seen one of them so far. But they are so silly. It is, and it's like what I said on one of the other podcasts a little while back. It's very, very slapstick. It's not going to do anybody any harm. Yes, maybe a little bit dated. Yes, there may be 1 or 2 politically incorrect comments, but it is of its time, and the majority of it is very slapstick, very funny, and it is just typical Morecambe and Wise. Managed to pick this up, this box set, in a charity shop for £3. Very happy with my purchase here. It's £1 a DVD. You can't go wrong with Morecambe and Wise, can you? And that's going to be something I'm going to be saving to the winter, and definitely watching that. So if you do get a chance, maybe give some feedback on if you've seen any of these films. Let me know what you think about them, or even Morecambe and Wise in general. It was always Morecambe and Wise and the Two Ronnies when I was growing up, and I love them both. I've got both the box sets of Morecambe and Wise at the BBC, and also the Two Ronnies as well, which maybe I'll do a review on a future show. Now, one of my favourite shows growing up was the 1960s Addams Family and Munsters. I always preferred the Munsters over the Addams Family. I think out of the two, the Addams Family probably managed to find its feet more so. There's been so many spin-off films of the Addams Family over the years. And even the Munsters, to a degree, had their spin-offs as well. There was a series with Lee Merriweather, The Munsters Today, back in the 1980s. And actually, little known fact, they made more of those Munsters Today episodes than they did of the original Munsters from the 1960s. But here's a little treat. It's called Munster Go Home. And it's the original Munsters in a colour film, which was made in the 1960s, just after they finished filming the actual TV show, or maybe in between seasons. They made Munster Go Home, which is supposedly set in England, or Scotland, although I very much doubt it was filmed over here. However, it does star Terry Thomas as well. You know what you're going to get with a Terry Thomas film, don't you? So it's very funny. It's in colour. The reproduction of this is brilliant, and if you're a fan of the Munsters, Munsters was always my favourite between the Munsters and the Addams Family, although I enjoyed both of them. The Munsters was always my favourite. Again, it was, I think, just because of the slapstick. Herman was just a laughable buffoon, wasn't he? And he is very much so on this. In colour, Herman's green. It's a full-length feature film of Munster Go Home, and again, managed to pick this up for a very good price in one of the charity shops. Now, moving back on to TV, and 1970s TV gave us some great cop dramas. One of my favourites was Charlie's Angels. Now, unfortunately in the UK, I think they've only ever released the first 3 series of Charlie's Angels on DVD. Maybe they've released the 4th and the 5th now, but certainly for many, many years, they were coming out maybe a year at a time, and then for some reason after series 3, and they do that, don't they? Same with the Crown Court. They released 8 Crown Courts. I suppose if they don't sell, then they're not going to go through the expense of clearing rights and releasing more. And that was probably what they did with Charlie's Angels, which was a pity really, because when I bought the original Charlie's Angels DVDs, they hadn't been on TV for a while. But again, it's finding an audience, a niche audience, niche enough to go out, buy it, enjoy it, and for the companies to go and clear the rights for the next series and so on and so forth. However, similar to the Wonder Woman DVDs or Blu-rays, which I reviewed just a few moments ago, you can now buy on Blu-ray the complete series of Charlie's Angels. Again, this is an American import, but again, you can watch this on UK machines. I managed to pick this up for 68 of your UK pounds, and that came from America. It didn't take very long, less than a week for it to arrive, and I'm slowly working my way through the Charlie's Angels. And every single episode of Charlie's Angels is on here. And the bonus is when back in maybe the early 2000s, they made a new series of Charlie's Angels. The new series of Charlie's Angels is on here as well. So you get all 5 original Charlie's Angel series from 1977 up to about, was it 82, 83 when the show stopped? And you also get the new series of Charlie's Angels as well. So definitely recommend this. Who was your favourite angel? For me, Cheryl Ladd. Cheryl Ladd, without a doubt. Jacqueline Smith as well. But I think if you're a fan of Charlie's Angels, you will have your secret angel crush. And for me, it's no secret anymore. It was always Cheryl Ladd. So yeah, watching this, and of course for our full set as well, she came back in on some of the second series. She left after the first series, but always had a good standing relationship with the producers, and of course it was Spedding, wasn't it, who produced and directed this, Aaron Spedding. So yeah, another DVD Blu-ray box set which I recommend. You can pick it up on Amazon. It will play on UK machines, and again, as I said just now, the picture reproduction is brilliant on this. Now, just got a couple more to review, and again, if you've got any DVDs or Blu-rays you've picked up at a bargain price, or if you've got any comments about the ones I've already spoken about on here, please do contact the show. You can do that via our website, which is radiogroovy.com. Just go see the film, see the shows, and you can contact us via that. I'll put all the details up on the screen in just a few moments' time before the end of the show, how you can contact us as well. Now, I've made no secret on past podcasts that I like to watch programmes which may be not politically correct these days, maybe shows which haven't been on the TV over the last period of time, or maybe shows which have been on TV and and you can understand why it's been done. Words been bleeped out because, again, it's not politically correct for 2024, which is when we're recording this. So it's around about 11:15 at night, by the way, on the 25th of June. It's been a very, very hot day today, and yeah, the studio is quite cool at the moment, which is rather nice. And thank God we're not panning down, because I'm just wearing a t-shirt and shorts today, which I didn't want to scare you with, well, as I used to say on Morecambe and Wise, my little fat hairy legs. Anyway, another DVD which I'm going to recommend, and again, it's one which has not been on the TV for a while, and it's one of those which maybe not politically correct to show on TV now, although I'm very surprised it hasn't turned up on maybe a channel like That TV, who do tend to go against the grain with some of the shows they watch. But it is Mind Your Language. Mind Your Language, which starred Barry Evans. Now, the premise of this comedy, and I think it went on for 2 or 3 series, 4 series? Season 3, no, 3 series on 4 discs. Now, they did actually bring a series out in about 1986, which isn't on this one, and I've never been able to find. I've never seen the 1986 series, and if anybody's got any comments, maybe they've seen it. Was it good? Was it not very good? It only lasted for a series. I think the original, this one was made by LWT. Not sure who made the 1986 series. I don't think it was LWT. I think it may have been one of the other ITV franchises, or even an independent company. Did anybody see it? However, these are the first 3 original series of Mind Your Language. And the premise about this, it's about an English teacher who is teaching English as a second language to a bunch of foreign students. And of course, you know, English can be a bit of a funny language, can it? Let's face it. And the students get things wrong. And love it, loathe it. It's on DVD, the full 3 series, and again, it's one of those shows I've been working my way through. Now, I remember watching this as a kid growing up, having belly laughs at some of the comedy on here, and maybe now looking back, probably it was just some of the stupid throwaway jokes which you would get on the show every week. So, for example, when they were speaking to the Japanese guy, the Japanese guy would come back and say, "Ah, soul." And of course, you know, as a 10-year-old, even younger than that, maybe, you know, "Arsehole," that was crying with laughter. Now, yes, it's still funny, and I still snigger at it from behind the settee when there's nobody else looking. But yeah, again, of course, it is, in this day and age, may not be the most correct thing politically to watch, but the stories do hold out very, very well, and it's good to actually have it on DVD. And this is one of those things, you know, you can't erase history, can you? These things were on TV. Yes, I can understand the TV companies not showing them in 2024, but it's great to actually have them, so you can go out and choose to buy them and watch them if you want to, in the privacy of your own home. And I don't think you're doing any harm doing that. Now, my final 3 Blu-rays which I want to talk about today are 3 which I've managed to pick up at individual times over the course of the last few years. And they are from ITC, and they're great dramas, and they're a compilation set of series, and they're called Retro Action. So you can get Retro Action 1, you can get the second one, and you can get the third one, 1, 2, and 3. So they're all different ITC shows. So, for example, on the first one, you've got The Persuaders, you've got Randall and Hotcourt, you've got Department S, which they're re-showing at the moment on Rewind TV. There's The Champion, Strange Report. You go over to the second one, you've got The Saint, Danger Man, The Prisoner, the very first Prisoner episode. You've got Gideon's Way, you've got Man in a Suitcase, which is one of my favourites. Then you go to the third one, then you've got Robin Hood, and you get Shirley's World, The Invisible Man, The Baron, Return of the Saint, which was never as good as The Saint, but it was good to have it back, The Zoo Gang, and Danger Man. They haven't got things like The Avengers or the New Avengers on it, because that was made by ABC, or certainly the Avengers were. But these are, a lot of these are the Lou Grade shows from the 1960s and early 70s. Return of the Saint, of course, was that about 1976, I think. So that's probably like the last of the big shows which you get on here. But again, the reproduction of these and the way they were filmed, and they're good stories. They're good stories. Yes, granted, I will say they're very dated. You know, they don't have mobile phones as such. You know, you watch a drama now on the telly, it's mobile phones. They haven't got that. But they're great stories. Department S is so camp. It is a row of tents, and it is brilliant, though. It's brilliant. Roger Moore, The Persuaders, Tony Curtis, the love-hate relationship they had came across brilliantly on these DVDs. And as I said, the reproduction is fantastic. Now, these, unfortunately, since the demise of network, have gone up significantly in price over the last year, 18 months. So if you do manage to find them, either at somewhere like CEX or maybe on eBay, then be careful, because prices do vary. My suggestion would be, and last time I saw this was in CEX, I saw one of these for about £18, which is a lot of money. I think I managed to pay £5 for my first one, and I think 10 for the last one I bought. But they have gone up significantly in price over the last year or so. But my suggestion would be maybe go on eBay, try and find them on eBay, buy them maybe one at a time, and just enjoy the great stories, the great ITC stories. You can also buy, which I have somewhere, an ITC album, which is an album of incidental music of a lot of these shows, which again, you can hear on Radio Groovy. Check out Radio Groovy at radiogroovy.com, and don't forget you can listen on your internet radio as well. So that's all really I've got to review on this latest edition of the show. Thank you very much indeed. At the end of the show, what I tend to do is just a few things, and that's tell you about some shows which are currently on the TV, which you can relive again. The drama channel at the moment have just, over the last couple of weeks, have just started showing Are You Being Served? So we're very much back into the early days of Are You Being Served? They started from the pilot episode, and they're showing them around about 6 o'clock every evening on the drama channel. So it's good to get the Mrs. Slocum jokes on TV again. It's surprising how they're showing things like that, but there are other shows which they won't touch. It's weird. I just can't get my head around that. Where Are You Being Served is, again, not politically correct, but they're showing it at 6 o'clock in the evening, and Mrs. Slocum's talking about her cat on that show. And the other show which I recommend, which is back on Talking Pictures TV now, I never saw this up until a few weeks ago. I am so pleased they are showing this on Talking Pictures TV. From the 1960s, it was on in 1963, and it's Space Patrol. So not quite Jerry Anderson. It was Roberta Lee, Arthur Provis, who have both worked with Jerry Anderson on things like Twizzle and Torchy the Battery Boy. Of course, Jerry Anderson was off doing things like Fireball XL5 and Stingray. However, Space Patrol was the Roberta Lee production. Now, I've only seen a couple of these so far. and I was very aware of the show, and it was one of those I never picked up because I thought, will I like it? Will I not like it? You know, it's not Jerry Anderson, so I'm not going to watch it. However, I have been watching Space Patrol, and I have been pleasantly surprised with the stories. So if you've not seen Space Patrol before, or you've not seen it since it was on originally in the 1960s, it's one of those shows which disappeared for many years. It is now being shown again on Talking Pictures TV, and I can't recommend it high enough. So that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've got any DVDs you'd like to review, or if you've got any comments on the ones I've reviewed, then please do contact us. All the details are on the screen. I very much look forward to speaking to you and coming back to you again on a future show. We tend to put them out every week, every couple of weeks, and we're just running a short series of these at the moment, see how they turn out, and we may come back for a second series at some point. But we've still got another 3 of these at least to do, and there's still plenty more DVDs and Blu-rays to review as well. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you and giving you more reviews very soon.
This is Radio Groovy. We are the safe space on your radio for TV themes, soundtracks and lounge music. For more details about Radio Groovy, go to radiogroovy.com and scan the QR code.